I'm pleased to be here today with Clare Albright. Clare, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you do for a living.
Sure. I live in Southern California and over by Irvine, and I'm a clinical psychologist and a mother of a 22-year-old.
Okay, great. Now, Clare just recently completed our ITT coaching program. Let's go back to the beginning a little bit of your journey. When you first heard about ITT, what attracted you to participate?
I always need transformational work because after 30 years of being a psychologist, I find it's the only thing that keeps me inspired, refreshed. I always want new information to pass on to my clients, and I got a lot of that in ITT. And without transformational work, it just makes me feel a lot less strong and a lot less motivated.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay, yeah, I understand that. And as you made the choice to jump in, were there any obstacles you had to overcome? Any considerations that could have gotten in the way that you were able to get past?
Since I've been in transformational work for 25 years, I'm used to jumping the financial barrier, jumped it, the time commitment. I'm super busy, jumped it. So I'm used to jumping those hurdles, and I was happy to jump them. You know, I had to make sure I had time for my buddy every week, time for my small group every week, time for the class every week, time to meditate every day, time for the homework. So I was able to jump those hurdles.
Mm. If you could put your finger on it, what is it that you've learned or invented over the many years of your work and transformation that gives you that power to jump over obstacles?
I think that this week I've been really pondering how when I started as a client 25 years ago, I didn't know, let's say my identity, my core identity had shame in it, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. And now, since I do like EMDR therapy, which is a powerful therapy for clients with PTSD, one of the things we do in EMDR therapy is we get right to the root of the identity. And I find almost all my clients have beliefs like I'm not worthy, I'm defective, a lot of real serious negative programming. So 25 years ago, when I did my first 4-day seminar, that all came off me. And it's just such a lighter, happier life to not believe all that shame-based identity programming.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's an interesting connection as well, that I think what you're saying is when people are stuck in those kind of conversations, then the external circumstances seem more powerful than they are.
Also, the external circumstances always will start to prove, it's like we manifest it. If I believe I'm unworthy, then all of a sudden everything in my life, my income, my relationships, my mental health, all is an expression of that unworthiness. Even you can look at somebody's car probably, and a lot about how clean their car is inside, how many Starbucks cups are in the back floor of the car, is probably all an expression of that unworthiness.
Yeah, very good points. Well, I'm happy to say my car is clean, so I'm glad I can pass this little mini test. Okay, well, now, as you went into ITT, I think you were naturally curious, and as you say, you're always looking to sharpen yourself or tune yourself. Uh, was there any issues of life that were up for you at that time, or maybe early on in the program got revealed to you? What were the kind of deeper issues that you ended up working on?
I'll make up two questions in that, John. The surface, when I went in, I knew that I needed a lot of help as a mom, since my son at 22 is making a lot of choices that a lot of his peers are making that make me question, should I let him live in my house if they're all going to be drinking all the time? And even though I know that that's what most of the 22-year-old boys are doing, I felt like maybe an enabler, and that it was dangerous. So I had a lot, and also I looked at my retirement account and didn't like what I saw as a 60-year-old. It looked way too empty for my age. So those were two of my sort of presenting issues. But once I got in, if that's what you're asking, I saw a lot more, a lot more than that.
Yeah,
I saw
tell us about that.
my contribution.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us more about that. So what were the deeper issues that you?
Yeah, so I mean, early in the class, we were trained to be a self-observer and to almost have a camera on us all the time, a metaphorical camera. And when I put the camera on, I was astounded by what I saw, how much I was guilt tripping my son, shaming my son, not giving him a voice, not affirming him. So that was the most important goal in my life, was to improve in that area as a mom. And boy, you know, when they say you don't know what you don't know, there was a lot I didn't know, and it was very troubling. And then I saw it in all my relationships, sad to say. You know, we learned a lot about the ego and how the ego is in survival mode and almost like a primitive, maybe animal-like part of us. And so that was really sad to see me doing the same thing in all my relationships. So that was way worth the price of admission, to get busted and have the light shine and give me choices now to not be that way in my relationships.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I remember you writing me a note about the progress you were making early on, and people in your life were noticing that you were showing up different, right?
Yeah. So that was exciting, really exciting to get that affirmation.
So what started to be different about your participation in life?
I mean, so basically, one of the things we studied in ITT is that there's a common problem called I'm not okay, and that we manifest it with our ego in a different way. And I think the way I was manifesting it, I could probably use a few individual sessions on this to get even more clarity. But for now, it was always being the one who knows. I mean, the good side is that I'm a researcher, I'm a student, I love taking classes and learning, watching YouTube lectures. So that's the good side. But it's not for what I was using it for. For some anxious reason, I noticed in my conversations, needing to be right, needing to make the other person see my side of it. It seems barbaric now that I am aware of it. Just being impatient with other people's progress. Thank God it's easier with my clients not to be like this, but with my friends, you know, let's take the keto diet. So like many Americans, I've studied it a lot. So my friends who are new to the keto diet, instead of letting them have their journey and just being peaceful, I would be interrupting with this concept, that concept when they were speaking. So it's really helpful to know that I have this anxious needing to be the one who knows, to cover up not being okay. It's hard to put it all in words because we took hours in the class to study it.
Yeah, it's very powerful. So as you sort of dove into that and embraced that, it sounds like, you know, by bringing that to light, it wasn't controlling you as much, and you felt more freedom to maybe relax with people and just kind of let people be, and then they started responding to that, and it sounds like you just experienced more freedom in relating with people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more choices. So I was writing it down before our meeting to get clear. about resistance. I was reading over my notes. You know, one of the things I was reading, it says here, the true self is not resistant. That was really a fascinating thing that you said in class. Because if I'm not going to be interrupting and telling people what the truth is and how to be right about a topic, then I just can relax, like you said, and just watch them on their journey and let them have the same journey I had. You know, if I'm a step ahead of them, I don't have to push them to my step. Yeah, so it feels good. I mean, it's actually a mix though, because it's a new habit. It isn't easy for me. I have to really, really, really focus to zip it, quiet down, just be, just observe, just notice, and not be so controlling.
Yeah, it's always a journey toward more and more mastery. So how has this showed up in your practice with your clients? I know you are already doing incredible work, but maybe some fine tuning. What have you noticed?
Well, the homework assignment on the observer, one of the early assignments, I think is just worth so much. So most of my clients, I went into great detail so that they could go do it in their life. And just like me, they got busted. It's weird. On another note, and then I'll come back to the first point. One day, Landon said in class that when something happens, we always feel like the victim. And that was actually freeing for me. It was kind of human that for Landon to say that. Like he said, and then after we feel like a victim for 5 minutes, then we can shift and take responsibility for how we're causing everything to go against us like that at the moment, our part in the equation. So that was helpful because for 25 years, I've been frustrated with myself because like Landon said, when things happen, first I see myself as a victim. But getting back to the other point, same for my clients. Once we all learned this observer thing, so I learned it first, then I shared it with them. What do you know? Now I see my clients' part in the equation. Before that, it was so easy for them to come in and say, you know, my wife this, my mother that. And now with the self-observer, we can see, yeah, I do this, this, and this. And then what do you know? They're in a rage at me. So I have a part in this victim equation. So I love, because like most people know, once you take responsibility, you actually are empowered and you actually have a way out. If it's because of me, then I can also turn it around. That's the weird thing about seeing my part.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's incredible. So that's a great gift you're giving your clients now, and it allows you to have more insight and for them to have more insight. So that's wonderful to hear. I know you're supporting so many people.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, part of me wants to say, you know, some kind of egotistical part of me wants to say to my clients, you guys, you're always the victims. You're not the perpetrators. You know, I wish I could say that. But now with the self-observer, we see I am part of the problem and they are part of the problem. It's quite an eye-opener.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's enlightenment, transformation. It's not always pleasant or easy, but it's powerful. And it's, you know, what's the alternative? Is to just kind of bury our head in the sand and hope things get better, but that very rarely works. And I just think it's so impressive because as a practitioner of transformation yourself, I think it's so important that we work on ourselves at the same time, that we're being responsible about how we show up in life and not only just focusing on others. So I think that's really impressive. Now,
Thank you.
sure. Looking at the whole 12-week program, if you were to just kind of briefly give an overview for people coming into ITT, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that, we have two textbooks, your book and Landon's book. I just love that after the lectures, I can watch them. It's funny because when I'm in a class, I'm wanting to be a participant. So that puts me in one frame. And then I noticed that when I watched the review session, a whole nother part of my brain and my soul was able to absorb. It was really interesting to me. It's like some wall inside me was down, and I really love watching the review videos, and I can't wait to watch them again. So that was great. And having a buddy, having a small group, doing homework, meditating every day, there's a lot to the program.
Yeah, it's a deep dive for 12 weeks. But I think what you're also saying is yes, it does take some time, but on balance, it's not detracting from your life. In fact, it's enhancing your life.
Yeah, I mean, I needed each one of those pieces to review, and just start to own these new concepts. So I needed every piece of it.
Well, I don't think you're alone. Okay, great. So just in closing, what would you say to somebody who's considering ITT? It just in general, what is your recommendation to them?
Yeah, I think it'll get a person from point A to point Z with whatever you're dealing with, whether it's finances, business improvement, romantic, parenting like me, friendship, fitness. I think it'll really be a big support. I mean, the way I look at it is, it's hard for me to find transformational opportunities. And I just treasure every one I can find. I feel like Landon and John literally took decades of experience and tried to provide it. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's so valuable to have two trainers give a lifetime of knowledge in one package.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's very exciting for us too, and we so appreciate your openness. So, for those of you who are watching this, I hope this has been helpful to you as you consider what's next for you and your transformation. And I invite you on behalf of Claire and myself and all of us with ITT to consider jumping into the next Odyssey workshop, because that's really the entry into ITT. And this could be an incredible 3-month journey of enlightenment and transformation for yourself that will impact your life in very practical ways. So Claire, thank you so much for coming on with us and having this conversation. And we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, John.
All right.